Danny boy, oh Danny boy, oh Danny boy, I get knocked down. Chumbawamba. Haven't brought that out for an intro in a while, but it's a damn good one. And when I sit in this chair, I think about it nearly every day. Danny, one of our listeners, shout out to you, big dog. It's basically an homage to you at this point. What is enlightenment? What is it described like within this philosophy of Advaita Vedanta? Enlightenment, moksha, nirvana, self-realization. These are all the same thing, pointing to this state of waking up. It is not an event. It is more like a state of being, as it's described in this philosophy. And for this reflection episode, I'm just going to tell you what the masters within this lineage, within this philosophy, describe it like, because I don't know. I would not even presume to know what it's like. I literally, like a cover DJ, I'm just going to be playing the hits from the masters in the way that they describe it and what it is described like. And I'll even use words that are outside of this lineage. One of the quotes that I think about quite often is from Trungpa Rinpoche, who's a Buddhist teacher, and he said, enlightenment is the ultimate ego letdown. Starting with a few of the misconceptions about enlightenment: moksha, liberation, nirvana, self-realization. Kicking it off with the misconception. The misconception is that we think it happens to us. And as it's described, it's enlightenment from us. It's liberation from us, not for us. Meaning that ego letdown, the ultimate ego letdown, in the first few stages of a spiritual pursuit, and there are 4 classic pursuits of a spiritual life, according to this philosophy. One is relief. You're in pain or suffering. Another is prosperity. You want to get more. It's one hell of a way to use any Vedantic principles is to help you navigate through the world, to use it as a hospital to help you heal through something that you may have gone through or might be going through. It's described like a gym and a hospital all in one. It'll make you stronger to help you get whatever you want. It'll help you heal, to help you heal from anything you're going through. It is so profound in those respects. I will carve out an aside to say if you're going through something acute and traumatic, whether it is a broken leg or whether it is extreme trauma from an experience, seek professional help. It is not going to, Swami will say this all the time when people will come to him and say, Swami, I threw out a disc in my back, and it'll just be like, go see a doctor. I'm not a doctor. So this philosophy for acute needs, go see professionals. That is a slight but healthy aside when I describe it like a gym and a hospital. When it's working through years of self-sabotage, things like that, that's phenomenally useful for that. If you just got mugged and you're in PTSD, it might not be as useful unless you're already years into this philosophy. So a few years in, with the development of the intellect, with the reflection on these philosophical principles, it actually will help buffer you from all that the world will throw at you. But we've got seeking a spiritual path, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Vedanta, Buddhism, first off, for relief, then prosperity. Third, intellectual curiosity, like a journalist, taking down notes on, all right, well, I've learned all of these Western philosophers. I want to learn Eastern philosophy now, and it's just intellectual curiosity. And then fourth, finally, but certainly not last, the genuine approach towards wisdom. It's not relief from pain. It's not prosperity to gain more. It's not intellectual curiosity, like a journalist, just wanting to go study and look at something exotic. Fourth is the genuine approach towards humility, towards wisdom, towards transformation. That's the fourth and genuine approach to any spiritual path, is towards transformation. And in that pursuit of transformation, there is this arc that happens within us where we go from, all right, I came to this for relief, or a mix between relief, prosperity, and curiosity. Nice cocktail between the three. I came here because, wow, within a few minutes, within a few hours, this enlightenment thing, the end of all suffering, an infinite and permanent bliss, that sounded pretty good to the ego. And then 6 months in, a few years in, you get a little more exposure to what this whole enlightenment thing is about, and you realize it's a liberation from you. From the you that you think you are. It's not a liberation for you. It's not bliss for you. Because this is part of the illusion. It is a part of, it is what these masters have woken up from. There's this old story of the Buddha when he was asked by a young child while he was walking down the road in India teaching. He was going from one village to the next. And he was asked by this young boy, just by the way he was walking, this aura that he had, he wasn't asked, who are you? He was asked by the boy, what are you? And the Buddha looked at him, and the boy said, are you an angel? And he said, no. He said, are you a prophet? He said, no. He said, then are you just a man? And he said, no. The boy asked again, what are you? And as the story goes, the Buddha responded with, I am awake. That state of awakening, state of being, it's not for the ego. If we sink our teeth into that potential path, what is so ironic is that you will never experience it. It is not something that our personalities, our egoic-driven personalities experience. That's what gets left at the door, while who we really are walks through it. This is quite unnerving. It actually can feel quite depressing to see this for what it is, to come to this philosophy, or any philosophy, any tradition, for the egoic, hedonistic, selfish rewards. Could be 32 years, 62 years into Christianity and thinking, well, I'm working towards that big mansion in heaven. Only to realize Christ's words are about emptying thyself. Christ's words are about finding the kingdom within us, so deeply within us, that it requires a complete transformation within us to enter that narrow gate. Christ's first words were metanoia, which means overcome your mind or transform your mind. Mistranslated in 400 AD by St. Jerome as repent, for the kingdom is at hand. And the real Greek to Latin, we don't know what he said in Aramaic, but the real Greek to Latin translation is actually metanoia, which was only changed in 1979 in the Catholic Bible. So we knew this for decades, and it just never got changed. Then it finally got changed in 1979. And it has nothing to do with an external performance of repentance. It is all an internal transformation that leaves nothing left. As Ram Dass would say, you can't leave any stash for yourself. It is complete generosity of any egoic, selfish personality that we might have in our heads is us, and give so that we get more. That's business. That's a transaction. That's commerce in the temple. It's to give with no thought of getting in return. It's to surrender. It's to give completely. What it might look like is a couple nails and a cross. not some mansion up in some kingdom of clouds. What it might look like is giving completely. As Christ asked, he asked the young man that asked, "How can I follow you?" He said, "Go sell your possessions." Now this philosophy does not say you literally need to sell your possessions. Vedanta is really clear when it says, renounce being possessed by your possessions. Do not be possessed by the name, fame, validation, wealth, wine, women, whatever you are chasing. Do not be possessed by them. Like a slave driving towards it, blind towards any of those. Do not be possessed by them. But it's fine to have possessions. So that's a clarification that this philosophy makes. And sadly, in the Gospels, it doesn't really give that explicit clarification. When Christ asks that young man to sell everything he owns and says to come follow him. It doesn't give that clarification logistically, but it certainly philosophically makes a point. You can't keep anything for yourself. If you want to make it through that narrow gate, if you want to transform your mind, it is a transformation that is complete, not partial. And that transformation, that complete transformation, includes emptying thyself so completely that there is nothing of you left. That there is nothing of you, that personality. Within this philosophy, there is nothing of that old you left. Like leaving behind that personality in a dream. We touched on this in the last episode. The dream example, it's like leaving that personality in that dream with all the drama, all that circumstance, leaving it completely behind when you wake up. And when asked, what are you? You're not a new personality. You're not a better personality. You're not version 2.0 of you. You probably can't even answer the question without just saying you are awake. That's what Buddha means in Sanskrit, by the way. The one who is awake. To wake up, to open our eyes. And as we get exposure to how this state is described and move beyond the longing for relief, for prosperity, for curiosity, get more and more exposed to what this entails. What's so fascinating is you get all of those. You become so adept at any career choice you could choose. You become so almost effortlessly successful in anything that you try your hand at, that you're wired for. You become so generous, so loved in your community because you're so generous. You're the 1 in 1,000 that is not looking for something in return. And communities, oh my God, when they see that you're that 1 in 1,000 that's not looking for something in return all the time, they hold on to you for dear life. You're the most valuable person in the community. The irony is you get all of those things, but you get all of them by never seeking any of them. You get all of them completely by completely surrendering the need for any of them. And with even more exposure, you recognize that it's not about any of those things anyhow. And ultimately, it's not freedom as an experience. It's freedom from experience. It's not freedom for you. It's freedom from you. This is one of those reflections where it's a few days, if not weeks, to sit with, to chew on, to reflect on. Because in many ways, it is the exact opposite of what we would think enlightenment, liberation, realization would be like. And this is not the tempting version of the story, the bait to get you in the door. This is the deep cut. This is a very deep cut into how realization is accurately described within the limitations of language, of course, and how it is often described as it's like something you chase, something you pursue. This philosophy says two things. One, it is not out there. It is within, and it is your natural state. Requires no pursuit. It just requires waking up. Clarity. Awareness of what we truly are. And the second thing that this philosophy says is that pursuit, that chasing, that selfish approach to, I want to go get that infinite bliss. That is the thing that keeps us from experiencing it. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.